Hello guys, it's Cardboard Rhino and welcome to one more Rhino Says Yes. Today I want to talk to you about a very unique tile laying game that involves some really gorgeous components, an entire city being built by the players, and people getting FOMO from the new hipster stuff that's going on. It's Streets. Streets is the next in line from the fantastically sharp card drafting and set collection game Villagers. In Streets, players are investors creating attractive new streets in a growing city with shopping areas, tourists, hipsters, toy stores, and everything you could possibly imagine. After a street is enclosed, players can sell their buildings on it, and depending on what's going on in the street, they will make some money. The game is pretty easy to learn and it allows you to dive into the fast-paced action from early on. Each player starts with 3 tiles in hand, and on your turn you build a building. You then score your buildings on any street that has just been enclosed, if any, and then you get a new tile. You can place a building like this or like this, which creates a new street in another direction. But even in the more cramped situations, you need to make sure your building is connected to the road of at least one other building. After placing a tile, you also place the meeples it indicates and one of your ownership tiles so that we know it's yours. Whenever a street is enclosed from both sides, players get to score their own buildings of that street. Each building displays how you calculate their score. For example, this one gives you that many dollars for each pink meeple on the street, so the more there are on the street, the better. This one gives you $2 for every shopper icon in the buildings of the street. You take the money you earned from selling, and you also take back your ownership tile from it. After the entire street is scored, you have to move the meeples from those buildings because they want to explore new and exciting stuff. You place them in matching colored symbols in streets that have not been enclosed yet. If there's no building available, then people will get FOMO and will have to move to the first available building that will be built that matches their color. So the game is pretty straightforward. I just explained to you pretty much all of the rules, but there is some very important details that offer lots of strategic decisions and lots of interesting interactions between the players. One thing is that the streets can only contain a maximum of 5 buildings, and that each player gets a maximum of 5 ownership tiles. So essentially the players have to make the best use out of the tiles in their hands, choose a good street for them, or maybe sometimes by anticipating their opponent's move, they may profit by creating a smaller street instead by closing it off. And in that regard, you can also see the types of buildings other players hold, as at the backs there are their symbols. Also, when a street gets enclosed, it's the current player who gets to decide where to place the little meeples that have to move, if there is more than one options, which can be very important for deciding where to place tiles next and when. There's also a solo mode of the game. There's also an expansion that lets you specialize in different types of businesses, and a cool consultants expansion that gives an asymmetric feel to the game with unique abilities for the players. Overall, what I love the most about this game is the fact that so much action can be packed in such a small box and in only 30 to 60 minutes of gameplay. So Rhino says yes to Streets. If you're experiencing FOMO yourself, you should totally check this out.